All right, we're live. Look at us. All right, you guys ready?
This is
Unfortunately,
lesson 7 group quiz.
Yeah. Lesson
you guys
7.
give me like 2 minutes. Unfortunately, same thing is happening as last week with me.
No
Okay.
problem.
So Ray, you can stop looking at me. It's a little disconcerting.
Well, but if I go to me, if I turn you off, then I get this.
Oh, okay.
Symbolic.
Is it like the
Pushing me
mirror?
away?
No, I think it's like the mirrors in the temple.
That's
Oh,
right.
okay.
That's what I was thinking.
That's weird. I'm just curious why my hair is parted on one side in the little thing, and then it's different on the upper one. It's a mirror image.
I don't know. It shouldn't be. The cabinets are on the right side.
I don't know. No, everything's flipped as far as what I can see.
Oh,
It's just weird.
from my perspective, it's right.
Okay. I think I like my hair parted on that side better. There goes Michael.
He'll come back.
So John, what did you think of this chapter? For me, it was pretty confusing.
Oh my goodness. I struggled. I think there's 3 questions on this that I didn't even find answers to.
Yeah, me either. So
I left question marks.
I'm glad you're here. We can work it out, come up with the best one. I wish we could do the whole course that way.
I know, I
Yeah.
wish we could do all the
Teams.
homework.
Yeah, for real.
It seems like every week there's like 3 or 4 problems that just really stump me in the homework, and I spend like an hour on the rest of the homework and like 3 hours on those couple of problems.
Hey man, I just guess and move on. I'm not going to spend 3 hours on a couple of problems.
It's usually math, or he's like trying to work out the problem.
It bothers me when I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
It's tough living with a perfectionist.
Rory, are you also a completionist? Like, do you have to finish everything?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Susan's nodding her head because she knows.
All right, Michael, are we good?
Yeah, I think so. Let me just pull up the quiz, make sure everything's good here.
Yeah, I have a little bit of OCD problems.
Okay, I'm ready, I think. So,
Okay.
All right.
Question 1. Other things constant, if domestic consumers purchase fewer foreign goods at each level of GDP in the short run, what will happen?
Oops.
So I had 2 answers for this. My first answer was there'll be no change in the GDP in this country because we're talking about purchasing foreign goods. But then as I thought about it, I thought, well, if the amount of foreign goods goes down, then that makes the export ratio go up, which would mean the GDP would rise.
Yeah, I put GDP will rise.
I did as well, just because
Okay.
if you if you purchase fewer foreign goods, then you have your X is higher. That
Well,
makes sense.
what throws me on this question is it starts with other things constant.
Yeah, that's true.
But it would change the ratio. So I think the other things constant is referring to like we're not going into a recession or anything. It's so anyway.
I think it's also saying like there are no larger factors causing something kind of like a recession, but no larger factors causing that change in purchase history.
Hmm. These economists, they really love that other things constant phrase. Okay, number 2, in the aggregate expenditures model of the economy, a downward shift in aggregate expenditures can be caused by a blank.
I put down a decrease in government spending or an increase in taxes.
I got that too.
But I think I
Yep,
may
me
have
too.
asked you about it. So, okay.
Everybody on with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3, a tax cut will have a greater effect on equilibrium GDP if the
I guessed on this one.
Me too.
Okay, so I came up with marginal propensity to save is smaller.
I did as well. And I think it's just because it's the inverse of what I wanted. Right? Because if marginal propensity to consume is, consume is larger than to save is smaller.
Well, the thing that taxes, because remember taxes are, they don't have as much impact as government spending because of the savings aspect, because part of the money is saved. So my theory was that if the saving is smaller, then it's going to have less of an effect. So if the savings 0.2 instead of 0.4, then it's going to affect the equilibrium less.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
we want saving to be larger?
Well, if saving is larger, I hope I don't have this flip.
I'm wondering about your reasoning, but I don't know. I mean, this stuff is not sinking in. This chapter is not.
No, I think it's B.
All right, that's
Okay.
what I put down, but I had a different reasoning model than you did.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Okay, number 4, we have a chart to look at, and it says, or a graph, says if this economy was an open economy without a government sector, the level of GDP would be.
Is it C? 3 billion?
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, that's what I did too. And just because government isn't included in that equation
that's-
is why I chose it.
It's my best assumption.
Okay.
Okay, leakages from the income expenditure stream are.
I know this one. Saving, taxes, and imports.
Yay, I got that too.
I actually found this.
I was going to say take all the easy ones.
The most basic premise of the aggregate expenditures model is that.
Output
A.
depends on spending.
I got A.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I see. You just condensed the sentence.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, one basic assumption of the aggregate expenditures model is that.
D?
That's what I got too.
I did that too. I was a little thrown by average price level because I was thinking that price level was fixed, so hopefully that's not tripping us up.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought the same thing, but none of the other answers looked anything similar. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the average price level in the economy being fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 8. If the MPC in an economy is 0.75 and aggregate expenditures increase by 5 billion, then equilibrium GDP will increase by...
Okay. I guess I'll go, but this one I'm not sure about. I put down 20 billion.
That's what I got, and I'm pretty sure about it.
I didn't have an answer on that one, so I'll stick with what y'all go with.
Okay, so let me explain how to do this because you're going to have to do this a lot in the homework. So
Okay.
the inverse of the MPC is the MPS, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the ratio is based on the MPS. So the formula is you put 1 divided by MPS, and that tells you your multiplier. So our MPS would be 0.25, and then that when you divide 0.2 or you divide 1 by 0.25, you get 4. And so when the aggregate expenditures increase by 5 billion, the multiplier is 4. That's why you get 20 billion.
Makes sense.
If that makes
Yeah.
sense to everybody.
It's just
Yeah, it does.
at 20 billion, such an outlier, it made me nervous. You know, usually your answer is somewhere in the midst of what they have going on, and 20 bill was way out there. So I did the same exact thing you did, Rory, but I'm still a little nervous about the answer just because that's not usually how they do it.
And the quiz has a bunch of those on it. And it has a bunch of them that are like 0.33, and they come up with, it's like weird numbers, and it's like threw me, but I got most of them right on those. I didn't do that well overall on the quiz, but okay.
That's the perfectionist. You probably got like a 92%.
No, I got like 84 or something.
Oh dear. It's over, Rory. Drop out. Okay.
No, I'm doing better in this class than I did in microecon. I got to say that. If it doesn't get harder from here, I'll be all right.
I am too so far, thanks to these group quizzes.
I have absolutely no idea if I've done better in this class than microecon because it wasn't listed as one of the prerequisites, and I regret that.
No, you're kidding.
I kid
Yikes.
you not. I jumped right in thinking, just like it was described, that I didn't have to take microecon first, so I'm flying blind.
Well, you know
Oh.
what? Microecon will be easier for you after taking this course.
That's what I hear, but
Either one helps you with the other one.
it's been a little ridiculous because not even just in this group, but even in the text, it's like, as we learned in microecon, like, I didn't.
All right, great. All right, question 9. The investment schedule shows the
Amounts business firms collectively need or invest or intend to invest. Block C.
Yes, I
That's what
agree.
put.
question 10. The difference between the investment demand curve and the investment schedule is that the former shows.
Okay, this is one of the ones I wasn't sure about.
I put B.
I
put
got B as
A.
well.
No, okay.
It has to be an inverse relationship
Okay.
because
Because of the slope.
The demand curve goes down, so it's
Yeah,
an
that's what
inverse
I
relationship.
Yeah, you're right. Like the supply curve. All right, got it.
Like the demand curve.
Demand?
The demand goes down, supply goes up.
Frick.
Remember
trying to
that,
think.
Michael.
One of those.
You're going to need that microecon.
Yeah.
Over and over and over.
And equilibrium is where they cross. Okay, if the expected rate of return on investment decreases, then most likely the...
B.
That's what
That's
I
what
got.
I have.
Just downward, yeah.
Okay, number 12. In a private closed economy, the equilibrium condition for the economy is...
I put A.
Me too.
Me too. And I wrote a bunch of notes to justify it, so we must have got that one right. That'll be the one I get wrong, the one I like pick a bunch of notes on. Okay, number 13. When aggregate expenditure is greater than GDP, then there will be an...
I put C.
Okay.
I put D.
I put B.
Ah!
All right.
Okay, so here's why I put B. When aggregate expenditure is greater than the GDP, we're in an inflationary period, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so inventory will decrease
Mhm.
because there's more demand for the product than there is product. But then I think the GDP will increase because companies will increase their production to meet a higher equilibrium.
You stated that very well.
Yeah. I feel kind of foolish now.
Yes, what was I thinking?
Well,
I got the unplanned inventory decrease. I don't know what I was thinking with the GDP decrease.
Okay.
Well, apparently I got nothing because I.
Well,
I think
hopefully I
it's
don't
just-
have it all backwards in my head, but
Yeah, and that's been my trouble with these unplanned whatevers with the GDP and equilibrium is I keep getting them flipped. I almost need a drawing.
Yeah, this is the confusing part for me. I'm just like that question. I was just kind of mumble jumble, so I just kind of tried to piece it together. But
okay. Well, let's hope we're right.
Well, don't move on yet.
Okay, let's go back.
I'm just trying to get it right in our heads because I know this is going to come up. They love to repeat. So and I think it's the way they word it in here, and I think you worded it just so much better. So I think I'm just going to take what you said and just draw a picture because they're just talking about how it would be if we were in balance. There is no overproduction, which would result in the piling up of unsold goods. Nor is there an excess of total spending, which would draw down inventories of goods.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they thought they were saying it simply, but they're saying it just really confusing. So if the expectation is lower, like if we did the flip, the flip of this, if the expectation was lower than GDP,
So you're saying aggregate expenditure is lower than GDP.
exactly.
Okay, so then you'd have an increase of inventory because you wouldn't be selling off all of your inventory, and then you would lower your production numbers because you already have too much inventory.
I wouldn't go the other way.
Why would you make more product when you've got a warehouse full of it?
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm thinking the inverse. Like if it was lesser than GDP.
Yeah, so spending is less than GDP. That's recessionary.
I've got to plug in my computer, guys, in just a second.
All right. I think I just have this completely backwards in my head.
Well, just like substitute products for it. Say you've got, like when you sold those drinks for that other class,
Yeah.
and you had 8 drinks, but you had 9 people that wanted drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So
Then I would increase my production, wouldn't I?
yeah, because your inventory was too low.
So which one is that? Is that where?
That's when aggregate spending, you had more
Mhm.
people wanting to buy the product than you had product available.
And so the GDP is lower than aggregate expenditures in that example.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm making big notes on this one. All right. Thank
And
you.
you're right. It does come up over and over again. Okay.
14.
John, are you back with us?
Yep, I'm good. Sorry,
Okay.
I should have announced it.
No problem. Okay, the amount by which an aggregate expenditure schedule must shift upward to achieve the full employment GDP is an
B.
Recessionary.
B.
expenditure.
That's what I got too.
Yay, recessionary expenditure gap. Did you guys watch the videos that they had posted as part of the class? They're like rapping videos about those two guys, the classical economist.
They're very funny, but there's nothing to learn in them.
I got really excited, like there was some easier way to digest this information. That's
Well, just a little bit.
They were
Nope.
really well done. They were really funny, but all you get from it is that Keynes wanted to manipulate the market system by having the government cut taxes and increase spending, and the other guy, I don't even remember his name, wanted it to just be left alone.
Yeah, that's pretty basically
So
it. Good
that's-
job, Rory.
that's
But they're
pretty
two
much-
white boys rapping.
But they did a good job with it, and it was really funny. Like I was laughing all the way through it.
here's
Okay.
the line, and it's gone.
Okay, number 15. The amount by which aggregate expenditures exceed those associated with the full employment level of domestic output can be best described as I don't know if I'm saying that one.
B.
B.
Inflationary.
Okay, number 16. The $787 billion stimulus package enacted by the federal government in 2009 to try and deal with the Great Recession was intended to...
Push the aggregate expenditure schedule upward.
I think that's correct.
And I know it is.
Okay, and here comes the page that was the toughest for me. Okay, when an economy is at its equilibrium GDP level, all of the following will occur except...
I put down B. Inventories will be 0.
Yeah.
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 Inventories will be 0.
Yeah, that wasn't the hard question. I struggled with 18, 19, and 20. Well,
Yeah,
maybe,
18
maybe
is.
just 18.
I don't have an answer for this one.
Okay, so
Me
if
either.
GDP exceeds aggregate expenditures in a private closed economy, and I got A, and the only way I was able to find A is there's a chart on the third page of the reading that shows aggregate expenditures and GDP on a chart. And so I went on the chart and I found, I went down low enough to where the GDP exceeded the aggregate expenditures and the savings was higher than the planned investment. But that was as good as I could get.
Sounds pretty straightforward to me.
Well, I don't have a better answer.
Yeah.
I don't. I looked at this for a long time.
So anyway, yeah, I spent a lot of time on that question. But I'm on summer break, so I have a lot of time.
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
still.
gonna say, I wish I could spend a lot of time on some of these questions.
Yep, Rory's recovering from back surgery, and as a teacher, he has summers off, so he's
Oh, nice.
pretty lucky.
So yeah, I can't do anything, so I just sit in front of this computer. It's either the computer or Netflix. What else am I going to do?
Yeah, there's some great stuff on Netflix.
I think I've watched all the good stuff. I'm just watching garbage now. There's nothing
All right.
else good. Okay, classical economists held the view that in the economy...
Okay, this one was weird because I actually found the word supply creates its own demand.
Yeah, that's a distractor to try and get you. Because
You
got
demand
me.
doesn't create the supply. Supply
You got
creates
me.
the demand.
Definitely.
Unemployment is temporary and is soon eliminated, is what I got.
Yeah, that would be my okay. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay. Yeah, I got tricked on that one. I just put A, so.
Yeah, no, I found where it said several times supply creates its own demand. So they
Yeah, it
tried to
kept
trick
saying
us.
that, but I was like, wait a minute. I
But
thought
this
we
is,
learned the opposite.
no, that was the class. Remember, this is the classical economist view. This was before Keynes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So this was before the depressions. This is the stuff that didn't work right.
Okay. Or does it? What? All right.
Okay, and then number 20, the major economic issue during the Great Depression of the 1930s that concerned John Maynard Keynes was, and I got unemployment for that one.
I did as
Me too.
well. Okay. Let's see what we get on this bad boy.
100%. Woohoo!
Oh my gosh, it happened.
Wow. I'm really
I
not
was
sure.
not expecting that.
Me either. Wow.
That was terrible.
Just want to thank Rory for the vast time he spent researching all the answers to these questions.
Thank you for destroying your spine, Rory, and having surgery.
I think that I would have gotten maybe a 70% on this had we not done this as a group. So, awesome.
Well, good. So, John, you can just make up for it by doing your magic
All right.
and bubbling it up.
All right, so this is what I've got so far. All right, so it's pretty much almost done.
All right. Let's go grab my iPad real quick.
Yeah, this is gonna be a tough one to. I didn't feel the flow in this chapter.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to look through the readings and just try to see if there were like headings and subheadings that we could try to use, and I'm just.
It's a lot of schedules and what affects equilibrium.
Yeah, honestly, it just seemed like the center point should be equilibrium equilibrium GDP, and then all the amazing things that happen because of it, all its facets, what the equations are. You can offshoot in two different directions instead of consumption and investment schedules separately.
Should we do the different types of economies they have here, or was that just a tool for teaching us to strip it down and then add?
If it's an effective way of separating it all out, I'm good with whatever.
No, just hold off on that idea. Let's see where Michael seems to have a pretty decent idea, so let's see where he goes with it.
Yeah, my decent idea was just dashed by thoughts of, why can't I just do a table? Why not a table? A table, a chart maybe. Like if I could compare things with two different axes. Bubbles don't have axes, and yeah, I went off on my own little mental tangent.
Okay. Well, at the end here, we've got all of these terms and concepts, and there's only a couple.
Leakage.
That's like the worst word in the world.
It's like a baby's diaper.
No, moist. Moist is the worst word.
Okay, so by the definition presented us of what this assignment is, back originally, we were just supposed to include all the terms and concepts. So it looks like we've got maybe 14 words here. Anywhere specific that y'all want to try to throw these?
If you are separating it out by equilibrium and GDP, I can't remember how you did that. Honestly, you've got it up on the other screen, but
Yeah, sorry.
there are things on that chart. I'm not sure how you would draw it, but what a tax cut or a lump sum tax would do to either of those things. I have no idea how to show that. Like, it affects equilibrium this way, it affects GDP this way, because those terms play and wreak different havoc on those two halves.
Yeah, we don't have to divide it like that. I mean, equilibrium GDP is its own thing, so.
Well, we could off the aggregate expenditure model. We could put investment schedule and investment demand curve, and then kind of explain like a little bubble that tells the difference between those two. And then around equilibrium GDP, there's like several definitions in there. We could put those around that. So let's start with so investment schedule. Shows the amount of investment forthcoming. So you could just put investment at each level of GDP. And then investment demand curve is level of investment determined by real interest rate. You just probably put just determined by real interest rate. Susan, you look like you're in pain.
I'm just, I wish I could contribute. I'm just watching how this comes together.
So a few of these, like recessionary expenditure gap, inflationary expenditure gap, those apply to all of the stuff, right?
Yeah, you could put that off of aggregate expenditures model, and then we could just kind of explain what they are. So like inflationary gap, GDP or aggregate expenditures higher than GDP, greater than GDP.
Maybe it's just a space filler. I don't know if it's worth putting on here, but the equation for equilibrium GDP could go there. And by there, I mean like on the chart, not like where you're working right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have yeah. Let's finish this up, and then we'll.
Yeah. One topic at a time.
Because really, to me, what it came down to, they had all these formulas and everything, but what it came down to is that the equilibrium is when the aggregate expenditures equals the GDP.
Yeah.
Because all those C plus, the consumption plus investment plus net export plus government all adds up to the aggregate expenditures.
This is GDP higher than aggregate expenditures.
Yeah.
And then the formula for equilibrium GDP.
Actually, why don't you, in that box, why don't you put C plus LG,
IG, right?
or yeah, IG, I'm sorry. IG, little g, plus G plus E small n. And then under that, put aggregate expenditures equals GDP. And then also under equilibrium GDP, we could put savings equals planned investment and no unplanned changes in inventory.
You said no unplanned what?
No unplanned changes in inventories.
I thought I looked tired, but Michael's looking pretty tired over there.
Yeah, I'm not feeling the greatest, unfortunately.
Sorry to hear that.
I have my lucky Toronto Maple Leafs hoodie on in hopes that I'll feel better.
So we have net exports, leakage, injection, lump sum tax.
Okay, so you could put leakage and put savings and net exports, negative net exports.
Put all of that off of aggregate expenditures model?
No, off of equilibrium.
Oh.
That's another equilibrium thing.
Doesn't leakage just relate to investment?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I got to go back a little bit. You're right. Leakage should come. Let's see, where should we put that?
Well, he has investment at each level of GDP under investment schedule. Can we just do it off of investment schedule?
Yeah, let's do that. So, and then just put two little bubbles off of leakage. So one would be negative net exports, and the other would be savings.
Do you want to relate those back in, how they affect equilibrium GDP?
Yeah, we could. They lower it, right? Or we could just say the leakage lowers the GDP.
Yeah, that would probably be more accurate.
Yeah.
How's that look?
Looks really good. I think that's good.
Gorgeous.
Solid.
I wonder if he has students or any groups that, like, after they make this, they just do funny things and rearrange the bubbles to make, like, fun pictures. Try and get some joy out of economics.
This time of night, I'm past that.
Understood.
All right, y'all tell me if that works.
John, where do you live?
Alabama.
Oh,
So
it
it is
late
late
for you.
there.
Yeah, 9:43.
Oh my goodness.
And my internet's out, so we're at my parents' house, which is about 45 minutes away from mine.
No.
Bummer.
But hey, I'm here for you.
Thank you, John. I was really dreading the bubbles. All right, it works for me.
I'm here for my grade. All right, cool.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, good night, guys.
All right, see y'all.
All righty.
Didn't work for me. You might have to send me the link.
It didn't work for you?
Let me see if I can. Let me
Try
try
and
again.
click on that thing and open it in a new tab. Do you want to stop recording us?
Yeah, I can. Ah, my computer's freaking out.